Welcome to the Edge Up podcast with your hosts Reed and Glenn from Hawaii Trading Academy.
I know it's like X when we see traders on X where it's more relatable than any other social media platform.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
because Instagram is more like the flashy stuff. Whereas like X, you have like the legit people. People don't want to keep seeing you. They don't want to see you in your fancy cars. They want to see your results or what got you there. What was the thought process that got you to where you're able to afford those fancy things?
so one of the things it could be I follow what's her name? Linda Raschke. She's I think market wizard, but she'll post charts. Yeah. And one thing when I look forward to looking at her posts because it's not I'm not looking for like what do you call it? Like being in agreement with or being in
Like
agreement
validation?
valid yeah, it's not looking for validation, but it's just more so reinforcement that we see the same things, you
And
know.
is she the one that you like learn from trading or like you trade similarly
I read some of
or
her
no?
books, but she's a futures trader. Um, and she's one of the top traders or whatever. But I respect her and because she keep it real, like I listen to some of her conferences and talks, and she's really transparent about that. But yeah, just I guess that getting that reinforcement, be like, okay, we're looking at like I'm me, and then she's a veteran, but we look at the charts similarly, and we're kind of almost on the same side as of the trade. And it's just a good reinforcement for me to just keep on continuing on. And then you'll see the other end of the spectrum of these other traders where, yeah, like post the wins, the big wins or whatever, and it's like a facade almost. I
Yeah.
guess it's just finding right now, like when I look at X specifically, it's just finding who I resonate with the best.
Yeah, I feel like X is like a little more serious. There's more serious traders there than other platforms, at least right now.
It's just sounding like we're giving new traders a way to navigate the trading world.
Like
Um,
through using X or just through social media in general.
yeah, or just yeah, navigating news or social media or people or just the trading world. Like, because when people get in, they just like, oh, I just follow this guy on YouTube. I follow this guy, and then
Yeah.
if you're following everyone, you'll never get anywhere. But if you find those people who are inspiring, find those people who like the words hit, right? Like what Lance was saying. Um, I think that's gonna be a key part to your success.
Thing it's okay to watch like a bunch of different resources because then you know what you like, what you look for.
Mm,
And then like once you really find out like okay, you know what, I think I like reversal plays more than anything. And then you could find a strategy and cultivate your own work around for that. So it's okay to like expand with multiple like YouTube people, but I think the truth or the matter of fact is like bottom line is there needs to be some validation with them, like as far as like um are they do they share their journal? That's it. That's like really like the the key motivator for me is like if you can talk about your journal and your process and everything, then all right, cool, you're a legit trader. But if there's just a person out there who just analyzes the markets and never reflects on their own journaling, then that's how do you know that their strategy is actually like consistent and that it actually works over like X amount of years. So I think that's something to always keep in mind for sure when you're exploring different resources.
yeah, one thing I've learned too is looking at the person's language, the way they talk, the way they um yeah, share
That's
their
key.
thoughts and opinions. You're gonna find this when you're starting out in trading, and then the only word you want to see is profit, obviously. And this is the trade. This is a trading setup. And it changes over the years, and you're gonna find out, like, with you have to, I guess it's having that discretion on really reading between the lines almost on someone's tweet or post, and seeing that, okay, like, veterans, they talk differently than these YouTubers, the real
True
the
that.
real hedge fund guys or whatever. They see things from a 60,000 foot elevation rather than sea level, and so their language is going to be a very different representation. I mean, essentially, you're probably saying the same thing almost. Like, if you really understand it, it comes down to emotions, decision making, and whatnot, risk management. But yeah, looking at language, being able to separate uh how they carry themselves compared to the YouTuber or the guru, furu, as you would call it. That's gonna be a this thing. And the books too, reading books, you'll see it. I think that's one way I was able to kind of determine that, through the books, through the podcasts.
Oh, 100%. I want to add to that. I was like, I've had my share of educators, and one thing that I would ask all of them is like, "Hey, what book are you reading?" And I want to say there's quite a few of them who said they weren't reading anything, and that alone right there is just like, all right, if I see people like George Soros and all these like huge, he's like literally the only one that came to mind. Warren Buffett. These people are reading, man. And how old are they? They're like in their 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I don't know. But anyway, these guys are old, and these guys are been veterans for a long time. And these guys still read. And so
Mhm.
I think that's one thing. That's one way to pick it out. Does the person that you're listening to or watching, do they still read, right? And what are they reading? And then the second part to all of this is you're mentioning like how the veterans, they look almost like they speak differently. And you made me think on how like people on the YouTube space, they create a sense of urgency, right? They're like, you don't want to miss this. Bitcoin is gonna pop, this is gonna pop, you don't want to miss this move. They make you feel fearful, right? That you're gonna miss something, fear of missing out. And I'm not talking about everyone. This is just like my experience, right? And then at the same time, you have the one good trade guys, SMB Capital, like legit prop firm guys. They talk things about long term in years. Oh, okay, well, next year it could happen, or it's a long game. That's how they think, right? It's not a sense of urgency. So that's another way to find which instructor really teaches like, hey, there's no time limit here. You don't have to be this great or have this amount of capital at a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
It takes time.
it
So I
takes.
think that's something to point out on how to pick your influence.
Yeah, yeah. Like, one thing is I seen lately is every single X post they put starts with breaking news.
Oh yeah. There
You're
you
talking
go,
about
man.
the headliners, and
There you go.
um, it's
A lot of
almost
it's clickbait.
it's a form of marketing. And yes, just because someone builds an audience doesn't entirely validate, if their trading style can fit yours. One thing beyond the tweets and the language is also do some research on the actual person. And you never know, you may find like their story matches up with your story, and you can relate to their problems or their environment, and certain things. And that's another key thing to just look at how they are, their characteristics as a person, characteristics when trading or managing other people's money. um you know I, look for the things that you value, or if you value honesty, if you value transparency, if they run other businesses and whatnot, and just look at that as a whole. Like Reed was saying, yeah, look at a lot of people, but I think when you're really diving in deep, then pick one or two, maybe three max, you know, and really dive into all those really in detail things, and yeah, you should be on your way.
Whether you're looking to improve your trading mindset and growth, we'll provide you with the tools, tips, and inspiration you need to make your next breakthrough. So tune in and let's edge up together.